Man? Mega Man! Mega Man! Can you hear me?
Just barely. The transmission isn't too clear.
I got worried because the transmission got cut off suddenly.
I'm okay. I think this is the last door. Whoa! It's still active! The reactor's still running!
Great! What about the refractor?
It's here! It's a big one, too!
All right, now maybe we can finally get some money. Be careful.
Before we begin, I would like to officially dedicate this review to my good friend and Dragon Quest X compatriot, Cranberry,
Right there.
as well as the loving memory of Frisco. Cranberry has asked for this review for months now, and it was intended to be my virtual Christmas gift for her, but alas, I couldn't find my copy of the game. So this week and next, we'll be taking a look at the two Mega Man Legends games, and while I would have loved to take a look at the prequel, The Misadventures of Trombone, it's yet another game I can't seem to find, and I didn't want to delay this review any further. So the two Mega Man Legends games are going to break up our PSP reviews for the next 2 weeks. So the ultimate question now is, how well does Mega Man Legends hold up? Just about a decade after its original release in 1997. And the answer to that question depends largely on the amount of nostalgia you have for the game. But under no circumstances is it a bad game, just that it isn't as refined as the sequel. For starters, the controls are digital only, meaning you can't use the analog sticks to move around, and we've all become so accustomed to analog controls today. And what's odd is that by 1997, just about everything was using analog controls on the PlayStation. Here you're forced to use the D-pad to move around and use the L1 and R1 buttons to swing the camera around Mega Man's back. It certainly works, but it's just not as fluid as it could have been. When Capcom decided to take Mega Man from the 2D plane to 3D, a lot of people were quite skeptical, myself included. We had seen some lackluster games up to that point in 3D from really big popular franchises, namely the Contra series. There were also a ton of mascot-based 3D action platformers, and most of them were severely lacking in quality. So I wasn't sure what direction Capcom would take. Now thankfully, Capcom did something really clever with this game. They didn't simply translate the fast pace and precise 2D Mega Man style over to 3D. No, instead they created a fully 3D action RPG. And for the most part, it really has stood the test of time. As you progress through the game, you're introduced to a wide assortment of colorful characters, such as Mega Man's sister Roll, his grandfather Barrel, and many, many more. Towns and environments are usually quite colorful and full of life, which is something you expect from the Mega Man series. Another series staple is the ability to acquire powerful new upgrades. Here, upgrades are handled via a unique Buster Arm upgrade system. At first, you can only add 2 parts to Mega Man's arm, but later you can add a 3rd part. These parts can enhance Mega Man's shot power, range, rapid fire, and energy. There are also a wealth of other enhancements you can make as you progress through the game. Gameplay is largely broken down into standard action RPG fare, whereby you explore towns to find out information on where to go next and then proceed to said area. These areas are modeled after industrial zones, caves, classic action RPG style dungeons, and much, much more. Legends really feels like a unique Mega Man experience, yet balances out nicely when compared to the older games in the series. Outside the controls, the only other sort of modern element that would have benefited this game would have been if they would have added a map to the open towns or open areas. So while there's a map that's there that you can use as you traverse what would be dungeons, That's not the case when you're in the overworld, and it would certainly help because sometimes you can get a little bit twisted and turned around, not entirely sure where to go next. Now, thankfully, there's a little monkey character called Data that helps you out and says, oh, you know, you have to go to that location. But sometimes finding it isn't that easy. Graphically, the game certainly looks dated. However, I always like the visual style Capcom used for this game. Because they used a low amount of polygons, they were able to really stretch out the environments. There's really minimalistic amount of pop-in, and everything looks really colorful and grandiose, especially for a PlayStation 1 game. And I always thought this was quite an achievement. As for the audio, I actually really enjoy it. There's some really good tunes here, and besides that, there is a ton of voice acting, which was really surprising. Overall, Mega Man Legends is going to be remembered for all time because it did something different. It took a beloved franchise and instead of just trying to copy and paste the exact same gameplay, it said, you know what? No, this isn't really going to work if we try and translate Mega Man from 2D to 3D with the exact same gameplay. So why don't we try something different? And thus, an action RPG was born, and a damn good one. Truly, the only real negative I have with this game is the fact that it doesn't have analog controls. Dual analog controls would be even better. And that's something Mega Man Legends 2 actually has. But we'll cover that game next week.
Okay, got it? Once the decision's made, there's no turning back. Nothing less than 100%. And remember, it's more than just guns and ships. It's whoever has the most information that wins, right?
Right, we understand. You need to keep your costs and risks as low as possible and stay on schedule.
That's right. You've got it. Huh?